What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Tony D2 Wild, checking in once again back in the building today, guys, with a review of the upcoming Jordan 5 Reimagined Black Metallic. These are set to release on February 8th for a retail price point of $210. And this is going to be in a full family size run, with GS coming in at $160, $90 for preschool, and $75 for toddler. And this is, of course, a reimagining of the player exclusive Jordan 5 Black Metallics that Michael Jordan actually wore himself. Because these pairs, as you can see, come with the white laces that Michael Jordan put in on his pair of Jordan 5s back in 1990. There are some subtle twists to this particular pair. One in particular is the 3M piping alongside with the 3M on the back of the Nike Air here. And that's kind of about it. Now, these recently released, or I would technically not, it's not recent anymore, but last released back in 2016. And this pair, of course, featured the Nike Air on the back as well. I put some little trick you guys may or may not know. You put tape down there and your logo never disappears. Little subtle, I guess, tip for you guys and girls out there. But there are some big time differences of these two, even though these are the same exact shoe. And one in particular, as I stated before, is the overall cushioning, the thickness of the tongues, the overall heights of the tongues, the widths of the tongues, and as you can see, the toe boxes of the shoe as well. I definitely like the direction that they went with the newer pair compared to the older pair, even though I do like the older pair as well. But I will say the material feels slightly better. This feels a little bit softer, a little bit more plush on these, but these both seem to be similar to that, I guess you could say, like a nubuck material. This one is a little bit more spongy. This one's a little bit more soft. It feels as if it has a little bit more of that fluff that you feel when you feel on like suede materials. But these both seem to be more of a nubuck rather than a suede. And besides that, though, you pretty much got this shoe, but in a more updated manner. It's more slim, and I would say that it is closer to the OG shape of the Jordan 5 compared to the 2016 pair that had that old school toe box that we talked about that kind of curls down. With that said, though, these I think are going to do phenomenally well. The Jordan 3 Black Cats, for the most part, sold out. People said they was going to sit. I think that the Jordan 3, Black Cat kind of is setting the standard of what to expect going into 2025, because I already stated before, I think it's going to be a big year, the 40th anniversary of Jordan brand itself. And in February, we have this releasing, the Black Toe Reimagined, and we also got the Jordan 1 Bread. So we got some big time classics. Classics that Jordan himself wore releasing in the month of February, and this is one of them coming right off the bat of February 8th. And we, of course, have the All-Star Weekend, which is going to just tie into everything alongside with the band or bread Jordan 1s. And I think this is going to be a phenomenal year. And I think February is really going to set the thing, going full steam ahead. You have, of course, the Nike on the bottom, the black Jumpman, and you still have the white Nike Air with the red insole featured on this pair, the same as that. When these released, they were trying to make them more like the originals, the same way they are doing this with these ones as well. But they did a slight change to the toe box. A lot of y'all have pointed out that the toe box on this one is slightly different than the toe box on the 3M tongue Fire Reds that were up there. They seem to kind of curl a little bit. It's almost like in between this and that Fire Red. The Fire Red was more boxy. This one has a more of a slant look. I like this peel a little bit more, in my humble opinion, and I'm not mad with it at all. The lace lock is red with a black Nike, and then you have, of course, the clear Nike featured here. You got the blue tinted outsole, and they swapped out this from the previous, of course, being more of that, the orange Nike tag to a silver. Now, I need to see if this is 3M. Kind of has that 3M type of feel, and we're going to do a 3M test because we didn't do one fully in the bathroom in the darkness to check that out as well. And if you are someone that doesn't like the white laces, well, you have the black laces here to make that swap if you need so to do so. So you get everything. $210 though is the retail on this one in particular. So it is a premium price that you are paying, one that I don't agree with. Definitely, I feel like 200 is starting to be The tipping point 250 is where I can't do it anymore. So if we get to 250, like I will just be reviewing shoes at this point, but not keeping nothing. I even think like 210 is, like I said, I'm picking and choosing. This is being at a classic, it's definitely going to be a cop for me. The metallic on here is, they kept it pretty much the same. I will say though that comparing it to previous pairs, and like I said, guys, I don't like to do it, but I like to just show y'all the differences and the progression of where Jordan Brand is. Have things gotten better? Have things gotten worse? Well, when you look at the two here, they pretty much are pretty close as far as the metallic speckling. I would say that these appear to be a little bit more pop. They pop and a little bit more saturated. At the same time, you can tell there's a difference of the outsoles, one being new and the other one being kind of used and old. So we are comparing that there. We also got to keep that in mind. I like though the shape. The bubbles on the sides of the ankles are not as big as they used to be. They definitely slimmed that down as well, but that more so goes in with the OG sizing once again. Fives, you know, back in the early 2000s, and even this pair right here, you can see how bulky they made those like humps on the ankles compared to how they were back then. It was a little bit more slim. It wasn't as bulky as they made them seem to be. But I like them. I like them a lot. I don't, you know, I like to give pros and cons to shoes just to do it. At the same time, like there's no such thing as a perfect shoe. I honestly don't have that many issues though with this shoe at all. But if you want to hear my thoughts and my opinions on what I would take out or I don't care too much for, it's the 3M. The 3M on the Nike Air, I don't care for it too much, but at the same time, I like how sharp it is. And what I mean is if you just look at the difference, you can tell the difference between, you know, the one and the other. But it's reimagined, so there's gonna be a slight twist on it. It's cool. The piping, you guys told me it didn't have that piping when they originally released. Even the piping, they said that this is 3M, but the piping like on the Jordan 11 Space Jams, they did have that white outline. So some old shoes did have white piping when the cuts of the leather was made. They weren't painted on top of to kind of blend in. Like with this one, you see how you don't really see the white popping out is because that was, I guess you could say, painted or dyed black to kind of blend it in and not expose the exposed suedes or nubucks or leathers. This one though, it's not that it's white. I think it's actually 3M. So when we go under the light in there, we'll see for better if that is the case. But I'm cool. Like I ain't tripping about it. It ain't a big deal, but it is something that, you know, a little bit different. I'm not crazy about it. There is some slight differences also on the tongues. They went with a more flatter tongue on the newer pair compared to the older. If you actually like look at it there and you see the lines in the Jumpman itself, the Jumpman on the older pair is there's more indentions, there's more debossing and embossing going on this sneaker, more texture grooves going on compared to this one, which is a little bit more just flat. But all in all, I like these a lot. I think I might still keep my older pair and just rock them more and keep these on ice. I don't know yet. I don't know. Or I might just get rid of those. I don't need double ups like I used to need them. You feel me? At the end of the day. But I like this new pair a lot. I like the new pairs of these shoes that are just coming out in general. We got a pair of reimagined black toes coming out. I got my old black toes. So now we'll be able to start comparing previous releases to newer releases and seeing those directions, seeing if there's improvements or not improvements on these upcoming releases. But let me know you guys' thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section as always. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace.